She signed the papers with tears in her eyes. Ethan Mitchell slid the divorce documents across the dining table, as if he were closing a deal. Sign here, and here. I am tired of marrying someone who cannot give me children, he said coldly. Emma swallowed, her throat tight, her mind flickering through 12 years of life shared with him. Laughter that once felt endless, whispered dreams in the dead of night, arguments that ended with apologies and reconciliations, tiny victories they had celebrated together. All of it reduced to this moment. Her husband walking away over a challenge they could have faced together. But we promised, the doctor said this time it would work. Ethan's lips twisted into a hard, cruel smile. I need an heir who will inherit my empire. The empire we built together, from scratch, she whispered, voice trembling. Stop being naive, he snapped. Everything is in my name. I'll pay you off. That's the only future you're getting. Tears stung her eyes, but Emma picked up the pen, signed the papers, and walked out without looking back. 12 years of marriage, laughter, arguments, shared dreams, all reduced to cold words. But the ember inside her, the woman she had always been, remained unbroken. 5 years later, Emma had rebuilt herself quietly, methodically. She had become a woman who commanded attention without raising her voice, who could read a room and take control without anyone realizing it, who had learned patience, strategy, and the art of quiet triumph. Her twins, Mia and Luca, were the living proof of a life Ethan could never imagine, conceived and raised in secrecy, thriving without him. On a bright Saturday morning, a cream-colored envelope appeared on her kitchen counter. Thick stock, gold letters embossed on the front. Mr. Ethan Mitchell requests the honor of your presence. On the back, in his tight handwriting. Thought you should see what moving on looks like. Emma held it for a moment, letting the weight settle. She didn't crumple it. She didn't shout. She dialed Owen, her head of security, with calm precision. Clear my Saturday. Ensure everything is ready. Mia and Luca, 5 years old and blissfully unaware, played quietly nearby. Their laughter echoed in the sunlight streaming through the living room. Emma's mind wandered briefly to the first time she had held them, the wonder of seeing her future reflected in their eyes, the quiet joy she had built alone. Today, they would be living proof of her victory. The morning of the wedding, sunlight spilled across the city, glinting off skyscrapers, bathing everything in gold. Emma adjusted Mia's bow and Luca's tie with care. We're always ready, she said softly, her voice calm, but firm. Owen, ever watchful, observed silently. He had seen Emma handle impossible situations before, but today, there was a rare fire in her eyes, a mixture of pride, quiet vindication, and calculated power. The limousine door opened. Emma stepped out alone. Her red luxurious gown shimmered under the morning sun, catching the eyes of every guest and photographer. Cameras clicked immediately. Whispers rippled through the hall. Ethan's eyes locked on her. For the first time in years, he looked uncertain. You're here, he said, voice dripping with condescension. Yes, alone, Emma replied, letting the words hang. Ethan smirked. Alone? Should I call someone to help you? Perhaps a plate. Don't want our guest fainting before she even makes a statement. Clare Reynolds, his bride-to-be, stiffened at the back of the altar. Margaret Mitchell, Ethan's mother, raised her eyebrows, clearly shocked. Emma's gaze cut through the room. Calm, unyielding, razor-sharp. I thought, for a second, that maybe you would have changed, that the man I once knew was still here. Ethan's smirk faltered. Changed? You assumed I would remain small, Emma continued, her voice steady and commanding. That I would shrink to fit the image you wanted. You thought I would disappear quietly, forgotten. But here I am, alone, and stronger than you ever imagined. The room buzzed with whispers. Cameras clicked endlessly. Ethan's jaw tightened. Alone? That's the best you could do. Emma let the silence amplify her presence. Every glance in the room reinforced the truth. He had miscalculated her entirely. Clare Reynolds, standing at the altar, watched Ethan's reaction to Emma's display. Her face went pale. Something inside her clicked. The same fear, the same realization that Emma had forced everyone to see. Her voice trembled slightly, then grew steady, cutting through the hall. Ethan, If you could treat your first wife, the woman you vowed to spend your life with, this way, how do you think you would treat any woman you marry afterward? Gasps erupted. Cameras clicked frantically. Guests whispered in disbelief. Ethan's jaw tightened, his face flushing with anger and humiliation. I, he stammered, searching for control, for words that could fix the unraveling scene. Claire straightened, drawing strength from the truth before her. I cannot entrust anyone I love to a man who would assume, judge, and abandon without even seeing the truth. Today this wedding stops. I am not marrying you, not while your heart, your judgment, and your arrogance remain as they are. The room froze. Cameras clicked. Guests murmured, some in shock, some in awe. Ethan's face contorted with rage and helplessness. He had underestimated her completely. Then came the laughter, innocent, bright, unstoppable. Guests turned. Cameras shifted focus. Through the grand doors, Mia and Luca appeared, glowing, smiling, each holding the hand of a tall man who moved with quiet authority beside them. Their joy filled the room. "Mommy," they shouted in unison. Ethan went pale. His lips parted, but no words formed. The children he had assumed never existed were real, thriving, and standing right in front of him. Emma smiled faintly, letting the moment settle. "They are ours," she said softly, her gaze sweeping over him. "Always were. And now the world sees the life you ignored, the children you never believed in." The hall fell silent. Ethan tried to speak, but no words came. The man escorting the twins gave a subtle nod and quietly stepped back, leaving Emma fully in control of the moment. Emma bent slightly to gather the children's hands. "We're ready to go," she said. Cameras clicked. Whispers rippled. Every glance reminded Ethan of what he had lost. Every heartbeat emphasized the life he had abandoned. But the day wasn't over. Emma had a final surprise. As the murmurs of shock reverberated, she raised her hand to quiet the crowd. "There's something else everyone should know," she said. Cameras pivoted. Guests leaned forward. "I am remarrying today." Gasps rippled through the room. Ethan froze. Claire's mouth opened, then closed. Margaret Mitchell blinked, caught off guard. Emma's eyes sparkled with a quiet triumph. "The man I am marrying is someone who knows the meaning of respect, loyalty, and love. He is not only a man of wealth, but a man of character, a man who values people over power and love over ego." A hush fell. Then she smiled, a small, knowing smile. "Ladies and gentlemen, meet Adrian Cross, multi-billionaire, philanthropist, and the man I choose to spend my life with." The crowd erupted. Cameras clicked frantically. Reporters whispered. Social media exploded instantly. Headlines would read, "Emma Mitchell remarries billionaire after shocking divorce revelation." Ethan's face was ashen, a mixture of disbelief and humiliation written in every line. He had underestimated her entirely. She had rebuilt her life, her children, and now her future, on her terms. Adrian stepped forward, tall and impeccably dressed, his presence magnetic yet gentle. His hand reached for Emma's, and she took it, her fingers intertwining with his. The click of cameras captured every second, every glance, every triumph etched into the memory of everyone present. "Emma," Adrian said softly, "are you ready?" She looked down at Mia and Luca, then back at him. More than ready. And in that moment, the world seemed to pause. A woman who had once been underestimated had orchestrated not just a statement, but a masterpiece of personal triumph. The ceremony continued, but the energy in the room had shifted entirely. Ethan, once commanding, was now invisible. His power, his wealth, his ego, all eclipsed by Emma's quiet, unstoppable strength. Claire Reynolds, still at the altar, turned her gaze away. She had witnessed not just a victory, but a transformation. Cameras followed Emma as she walked down the aisle with Adrian at her side. Guests whispered, their shock mixing with awe. The twins beamed up at her, their small hands gripping hers tightly. She squeezed them gently, silently affirming that this was a family built on love, choice, and integrity. In the middle of the ceremony, as Emma exchanged vows with Adrian, she looked out at the sea of faces, then directly at the cameras. If you've ever been underestimated, ignored, or told you're not enough, remember this moment. Stand tall, protect what is yours, and never let anyone define your worth. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video if you believe in the power of standing up for yourself. Comment below your favorite moment in this story. Adrian's vows were heartfelt and commanding, yet soft with warmth. Emma, you are more than a survivor. You are a leader, a mother, a woman of brilliance and courage. I promise to honor you, to protect you, and to cherish the life we create together. Tears shimmered in Emma's eyes, but they were not of sorrow. They were of triumph, joy, and fulfillment. She had rebuilt her life, her family, and now she was claiming a love she truly deserved. As the ceremony concluded, cameras flashed, the crowd erupted, and the children clapped and cheered. Emma had not just walked away from a failed marriage. She had stepped into a life more powerful, more beautiful, and more complete than anyone could have imagined. Outside, the limousine awaited. Adrian slid in beside Emma, the twins climbing in behind them. Cameras clicked relentlessly as the car pulled away, the city lights reflecting off its polished black surface. Emma felt the weight of the past lift, replaced by a promise-filled present and an unstoppable future. She glanced at Adrian, who gave a small, reassuring smile. "We did it," he said. "Yes," Emma replied softly. "And we'll keep doing it, every day, together." The car drove through the streets, sunlight reflecting off glass towers, catching Emma's gown in shimmering streaks of gold. Reporters whispered, social media buzzed, and headlines spread like wildfire. But Emma didn't care. This was her moment, her life, her family, her victory, and it was untouchable. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to follow more stories of triumph, resilience, and women who take control of their destiny. Share this story with someone who needs to see what true empowerment looks like. Now tell me, if you were in Claire's shoes, witnessing everything Emma revealed today, would you have called off the wedding? Emma leaned back, letting the moment settle. For the first time in years, she felt complete. She had survived the storm, protected her children, reclaimed her happiness, and found love on her own terms. And nothing, not arrogance, not wealth, not betrayal, could ever diminish that. Her life had become a living testament, a woman who refuses to be small, who protects her heart and her children, and who rises despite every obstacle, is unstoppable. And Emma Mitchell Cross, multimillionaire's wife, mother, and woman of unstoppable power, was living proof.